What's goody? It's your host Jay Rose as always, and KD thinks he should be in the GOAT conversation. I'm gonna give my thoughts on that today. Let's get into it. Over 90% of the people that watch my content are not subscribed, so if you're messing with the videos, please hit that sub button and the noti bell so you'll get notified every time I upload. But let's get back to the hoops. KD is confused as to why he is not in the GOAT conversations, and he says, because I went to the Warriors? Why shouldn't I be in that? That's the question you should ask. Why not? What haven't I done? Now, listen, I don't want to turn this channel into a I hate KD channel because I feel like I've made so many videos on Kevin, Wayne, Durant, bruh. And I don't hate KD. I do not hate KD. I used to. I definitely used to. But I do not hate KD. I'm over it, bro. I've been over that for a long time. After he got to Brooklyn, I was cooling. I was like, KD cooling in my book. So I don't want to make it seem like I hate KD. So let's start off with some positive things. Let's start off with things he is and what he has done. KD is one of the best scorers in the NBA, period. Hands down in NBA history. One of the most lethal scorers. We even saw this last night against the Bulls. Bro is absolutely a monster, a machine. He started off shooting like 4 for 15. He ended up with 40 points, shooting like 16 for 32. He's crazy. He's crazy. He's a flamethrower. And if that man gets hot, ain't really nothing you could do about it. That contest is not working. If he misses, it's because he missed, not because you play good defense. And that's what I love about KD. If he's on, he can get you a bucket anywhere, anytime, anyhow. That man is a one-time MVP, two-time champ, two-time finals MVP. Like I said, one of the best scorers the league has ever seen. And KD, you just can't really knock KD's resume, bro. He's a perennial all-star. He was the second best player in the NBA for a number of years before Steph Curry really came to rise. I feel like then he kind of got overtaken there. But there's still an argument to be made that KD was always the second best player in the league during those times. I personally wouldn't say that. I think it was definitely LeBron for a lot of time as number one, and Steph came through for a couple of years, and then maybe it was a fight between them two. I feel like LeBron has always been the best player in the league throughout that stretch. You can argue Steph for one, but I feel like KD was probably second or third through a lot of that stretch. So KD has been one of the best players in the league consistently throughout his whole career. He still is one of the best players in the league right now at his old age, and that's amazing. Can't really take that away from KD. That being said, now I got to answer his question. What hasn't he done? For starters, he hasn't won a championship outside of Golden State. That's the elephant in the room. That really is the elephant in the room. And that's what makes a huge difference when you're talking about Steph Curry and him. Because the Warriors have won chips with and without you, KD, before and after you got there. So it's not because you went to Golden State. I'm glad you got your rings. Because if you didn't have any rings, we'd be having a different conversation about you. Entirely. I think KD is in the top 1% of players to ever touch a basketball. KD is definitely a top at least 15 player all time. But do you know how far of a gap you are from being number one, being in the GOAT conversation? LeBron is getting flack for having 4 MVPs and 4 rings and 4 finals MVPs. Do you understand how long it took LeBron to legitimately get into the GOAT conversation in the eyes of most people? Forever. Bro had to win that championship with the Lakers and get his 4th to really be considered in the GOAT conversation. For real. Bro had to get the all-time scoring record for a lot of people for a lot more people to put him in the GOAT conversation. For real. And LeBron's accolades completely eclipse yours. Completely eclipse. You want to talk about a guy like Kobe Bryant? Kobe is not even really in the GOAT conversation for most people. And Kobe, his accolades eclipse yours. He has 1 MVP. He got 3 rings with Shaq, 2 by himself. Come on, you can't look at your resume and what you've done and compare it to people who are at the top and go like, yeah, I deserve to be there. Realistically, you have a great resume. You have a great resume. You're an all-time player, all-time great. Nobody's taking that away from you. But when you look at the likes of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan, Larry Bird, Shaq, guys of that nature, Steph Curry, LeBron, when you look at guys like that and you compare their careers to yours, it's like, yes, you've done great things, amazing things. You're at the pinnacle of basketball, but those guys clearly have edges over you. Clearly, Steph has 2 MVPs and 4 rings, KD. You have 1 MVP, 2 rings. If you take those 2 rings, if you and Steph never played together, Steph still has 2 rings and you have none. And I'm not trying to take away from his rings. I'm not trying to put an asterisk on it, but I'm just saying, you haven't won one by yourself. You haven't. And it really adds insult to injury when you look at the guys that you've played with. Like I said, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kyrie Irving, James Harden twice. You now have Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. I'm just saying, bro, the group of talent that you've played with is clear. Russell Westbrook. I forgot about Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka. Bro, you have some of the best talent pool out of any player who has ever played this game. And you have 2 rings to show for it. I'm sorry, that's just not going to cut it. You've left 3 big threes. 3 amazing teams. You had Russ, Harden, and you. Obviously, that didn't work out. Harden got traded, whatever. You and Russ still had the potential to win one. And when you lost to the Warriors in 7, when you were up 3-1, you go to Golden State. I'm over it. I'm not going to harp on that too much. It is what it is. He definitely took the easy way out there. I wish he would have stayed in OKC and battled back with them. He didn't. Whatever. You go to Golden State. Now you have literally a 73-9 team. You join them and you win 2 chips. Obviously, because what else was going to happen for real? You get hurt, you lose to the Raptors, you go to Brooklyn. You now have Kyrie in a great supporting cast. You guys didn't play the first season, you come back, you trade your whole supporting cast, you get James Harden. That doesn't work. And then you decide not to run it back with Kyrie the year after. You get traded to Phoenix. Now you're in Phoenix, you have Devin Booker, you have Bradley Beal. You guys look okay, but you don't look like a titles contender right now. And that is just really sad. The amount of talent that you have to only have 2 rings is kind of crazy, KD. The amount of talent you have personally to not have one by yourself at any point in time and to only have 1 more finals appearance outside of Golden State is crazy, KD. So what haven't you done? A lot, bro. A lot. It's not like you've been dominating this league and like, let me not say that. You've been dominating the league from a scoring aspect. But in terms of winning, I don't think you've been dominating the NBA. I don't. In terms of a guy who you're like, all right, we gotta make sure we get through this guy in the playoffs. You haven't been there. You haven't. Bro has gone out. He went out in the 2nd round last year back in Brooklyn. He went out in the 1st round against the Celtics. He went out in the 2nd round against the Bucks. And listen, I understand that Bucks series looks a lot different if Kyrie and Harden are not injured. But that's just a part of basketball, bro. Everybody goes through that. LeBron went to the finals with nobody on his squad, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. He went to this finals with J.R. Smith and George Hill, washed up K Love. Like, I'm not really trying to hear that. When you're talking about these all-time greats and what they have to go through and the adversities that they have to go through, bro, I'm just not giving you that excuse. I'm not giving you that excuse. LeBron took the Warriors to 6 with no Kyrie and no K Love in 2015. I'm just saying. LeBron gave y'all a hell of a battle, lost in 4, but he gave y'all a hell of a battle with nobody on his squad, and y'all were a super team. So I'm not trying to take anything away from KD, but him calling himself the GOAT or asking why he's not in the GOAT convo is just like, dude, there's a pretty decent gap between you and the guys who are at the top in the GOAT conversations, which in my opinion would just be MJ, Braun, and Kareem if you want to squeeze him in there. You're a ways away from that. And at your age, I don't think you'll ever be in that conversation, but that's not to take anything away from KD. Like I said, still one of the best players of all time, still one of the best small forwards of all time, and still deserves to get the credit as one of the all-time greats, but he's just not in the GOAT conversation, and that's my opinion. I hope I mixed in enough positive stuff for people to not call me a KD hater. I really do, because I am not a KD hater. I promise. But yeah, that's how I feel on the situation, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.